Really pleased to bring him aboard with us. So we've had him on a couple of times on the show. You know him as Juice on the hit TV show Sons of Anarchy, also co-founder of Staten Strong. It's my pleasure to have again on the show Theo Rossi. Theo, thanks for taking the time to be with us.
Always, brother. Always. Thank you for having me. It's always great to be on, especially less than 24 hours out from what will be, I believe, the most chaotic episode of television ever.
Yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to it. Big night tomorrow night on television. We'll again let the viewers know they could catch it on FX in the US, and in Canada it's on Super Channel. And Theo, I know Maggie Siff, who plays Tara, was on Good Day LA today, and she said, like all of Kurt Sutter's finales, there's a lot of twists, there's a lot of turns and reversals, and a surprise that will leave everybody breathless.
Agreed. Great.
Does that pretty much sum up tomorrow night?
Yeah, I mean, it's so masterful at doing, is just when you have an idea, just when you think, just when the Twitterverse and, the message boards all start saying something and going a certain way, it's never the way it seems. And that she is, my girl Mags is absolutely correct. It's going to be a lot of twists and turns and, more importantly, just complete shock and awe and surprise and all that kind of stuff.
Well, we're looking forward to it. It's going to be a big night on television tomorrow night. Theo, I'm sure it was tough a couple episodes ago losing a brother on the show, and Ron Perlman, whose character Clay was killed off. And I know from previous characters that have been on the show when they've died on the show, it's been tough for you guys because you have that, the bond with all your castmates.
Yeah, Perlman, listen, Perlman and I, truly that's one of my best friends. I love Pearl more than anything. And for me, him and I have been through so much on the show together. And we hang out constantly, we're both New Yorkers, we both do our thing, we spend holidays together, we've spent Christmas together, he's my man. So that was brutal for all of us, and definitely for me. And again, it's another truly rude awakening that the show doesn't run forever. I mean, that's Clay. That's Clay Morrow. Who's the, you think of Sons of Anarchy, you think of SOA, you think of Charming, of Clay Morrow. He's the guy, he's the antithesis. He's the guy who's always there. And so when that occurs, when something like that happens, you're it kind of shakes you, to your core as being part of the community, because it's besides losing of, a coworker and a best friend and a brother, you're also reminded that, there's not going to be many off seasons, there's not going to be, that everything comes to an end. And, it's crazy. And the finale will be even, more of a reminder. So that was an unbelievable episode, an unbelievable moment. And I thought, him and Charlie, played it masterfully, and him and I had to have a really great moment before it, and ultimately, which is what led to everything that occurred for Juice in the episode after.
And in true fashion, the way that it happened, not a lot of people expected Ron Perlman's character Clay to get killed off. There were a few times over the last year where maybe we thought Clay was going to die, and sure enough, Kurt Sutter didn't have it that way. He had it when everyone least expected it.
Yeah, and I thought that was the really cool part of it, because, you could sit here and argue that there are many times that the character has been in, precarious situations where he should have been or could have been, easily gone, and it would have been what you expected at the time. I think mainly, one of the main ones is when Opie fired on him. Obviously, something could have occurred when Gemma and I, put him in that position to go to prison. With the bounty on his head and all that. So there were definitely many times, and obviously Jax has had numerous times where he could have did it. But that's what I love about it. I love about it because people were watching it and they're like, "Huh, what's happening here? Oh, what's going on? Oh, wait, what? Wait a second." And then you see Galen, from the IRA go, and then you start seeing all this happening. So I thought that's the best part about it. What I love about Kurt's writing more than anything is it's so unexpected. I don't think anybody writes like that. He and that just shows how unique he is. He doesn't. He definitely, has his own way, and it totally shows in the way things play out. And again, this year will be no different.
Theo Rossi joining us, plays Juice on Sons of Anarchy. Theo, how have you handled this transition from your character being happy-go-lucky, almost comic relief, to very dark places that you've gone the past couple of seasons?
How have I handled it?
Yeah.
That's such a loaded question. It's an actor's dream, man. It truly is, Josh. I mean, it's like everybody I hear. I'm so in tune with the fans and like everybody who talks about the show and the websites that talk about it and the reviewers and all that. I'm really in tune with everybody in what they say. And overall, it's been obviously really great, obviously for the show and for Juice's journey too. But the greatest thing for me is like, come on, it's like I get up, every day and I read these scripts and I'm so lucky because I get to truly play every single emotion. And just when I think like, I'm like, all right, well, okay, well, I wonder what's going to happen now. This entirely other side of the character comes up that is so much fun to play. And whether it be, it might not look fun, but it is. As an actor, it's so much fun to play because, you get to explore all these, put your mind in these bananas places. And just really see, Kurt he just knows exactly how to, affect people. And I did. You're right. This character's journey has been something truly special. So it's been an honor, and it's really it's funny. I said this recently, and I'll tell you something because I can't say anything. It's so hard not to talk when the finale's on in 24 hours. But yes. It's like. This is the funniest thing is like people, they're so invested in like, the character, the fans, which I love more than anything because I'm so invested as well in the show. I'm such, like people say they're big fans of the show. I'm like a huge fan of the show because I'm a huge fan of acting and writing and in general. That's why I have my own production company. That's why we do our own project. I mean, I'm a huge fan of it. So I'm surrounded by literally, I believe, the finest group of actors, working, and I think the greatest writers' room and writers working. So for me, it's like I get to see all this stuff. So with the fans, it's so funny because they'll be like, "Oh man, when you took that girl out, when you suffocated that girl, oh man, that was so badass." And they'll be like, "When you beat up those cops, that was so badass." And it's like they love that stuff. They love when Juice was like running around and beating everybody up and was just flipping, fighting and going crazy. And then, like right away, when he has this kind of breakdown, they're like, "Oh my God, I feel so bad for him. Oh, he's got to get his stuff together." And then you see other people who are just like, you betrayed, you're a rat, you're this. And it's like, it's just so funny because their emotions are like the character. They just constantly are going one way and then the other and then the other and then the other, and it's really fun to see that, because you just see people who don't know what they want. They just want to see what's going to happen next. And you know, what I've been since season 4, the main thing I get is, wow. What's going to happen next week, like, to you? And it's just, I love that. That means that that we're doing something right with these characters, that they're so affected by, you know, their emotions and kind of what's going on with them. They're so personalized. So it's really interesting, especially for my character.
Ever since you were hanging from the tree a couple seasons ago.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I've always said the trajectory kind of started the second I sat down in that chair in Eli's office. You know, the second I sat down,
yes,
he won. You know, when he busted me, you know, when he ruined my enterprise of my weed business. You know, when that happened, it was like right at that moment, and I think that was episode 2 or 3 in season 4. So right when that happened, it was like that's kind of what started this snowball that has led us to kind of where we are now. So it's been it's been chaotic.
Now, Theo, you and Kim are doing something pretty cool for the fans tomorrow night. Tell us about it.
Yeah, it's pretty awesome. I leave at 7 in the morning. I'm in Staten Island, you know, where I live when I'm not in LA shooting, and I'll be jumping on a plane at 7 a.m. to go meet the man in his hair, Kim Coates, in Vegas. He will be doing this thing, I guess, and FX put it together where a bunch of fans won or put in this drawing and won this contest, and they kind of get to watch the finale with us. I honestly don't even know how many people it is, but I think it's a couple of hundred. And we watch the finale with them, and then we hang out before and after it and talk about it, and we get to, you know, I'm sure there's going to be a lot. The call's not long enough for me to keep saying a lot questions after it. So it's going to be really interesting there and watch it actually with fans.